Subscribe and click the notification bell to stay updated with the latest videos from School of Technology, Management and Engineering, NMIMS Indore.
Very pleasant evening to one and all present here. I, Tanishka Singh, on behalf of School of Technology, Management and Engineering, NMIMS Indore, welcome you all to the second season of Sunday Tech Series. As we know, a little knowledge that acts is worth infinitely more than much knowledge that is idle. With the purpose of sharing knowledge and explaining how to put it into use, the students at NMIMS Indore came up with the idea of hosting a series of webinars introduced as Sunday Tech Series. Success of season 1 of Sunday Tech Series in 2020 inspired us to come forward with the second season. The second season began from 13 June. So far, there have been 3 sessions conducted on C++, Java, and Python. The YouTube links for all the previous webinars have been shared in the chat box. With 500 plus registrations and active participation in the previous sessions, we are here with the fourth webinar of this season. Before we move ahead, I would first like to explain the flow of today's session. Upfront, we have a question answer session with Mr. Manish Israni, our industry expert for today, which will help us all to enhance our knowledge. This webinar will cover the fundamental concepts of IoT and cloud computing. By the end of the session, students will be able to understand how to deploy a website and create a circuit on cloud and get real-time readings. Attendees are requested to keep in mind that after the completion of the session, a feedback form link will be floated in the chat box. Everyone is requested to fill it as certificates will be provided on the basis of submission of these forms only. Moving ahead, we have the honor of welcoming Mr. Manish Israni, Executive Vice President and CIO at Yota Infrastructure Solutions as an industry expert. He has 3 decades of experience in infrastructure management and expertises in strategic planning and execution, consulting and delivering large-scale outsourced projects. Mr. Manish has strategic leadership experience in providing guidance, vision, and direction for the growth and success of a business unit. He has multi-vertical experience in telecom, MFG, SI, BFSI, and infrastructure verticals. He also has technical expertise in IT managed service transitions, data center design and build, migration and consolidation, and IT management services delivery. We feel privileged to have you today with us here, sir. I would now request Ashish Sharma and Adesh Chaurasia for the further proceedings.
Thank you.
Ashi, you're on mute. Kindly unmute.
Thank you, Tanishka. Hello, sir. We welcome you to the fourth session of Sunday Tech Series Season 2. We would like to thank you for joining in today's question and answer session, an interesting and engaging platform where we get to know your views and opinions about some important questions commonly asked by students.
Hello, sir. Firstly, we would like to ask, how are you doing, sir? Hope you and your family are keeping well in this pandemic.
Yes, thank you.
That's great to hear, sir. So, sir, shall we start with the question answer session?
Sure.
All right, let's begin with the first question that we have for you. You are a vice president and CIO at Yota. Can you tell us more about your role and responsibilities over there?
So Yota being a new company, thank you for having me here, first of all. And I work as a CIO in Yota Infrastructure Solutions. We are building data center parks across India. In Mumbai, we have recently started, and we have planned to start in Noida, Greater Noida rather, and Chennai and Calcutta, and also a couple of them in Pune. So basically, my role is to manage the entire technology stuff, which is from design, engineering to operation. So being responsible for technology, but I also manage the OEM relation, because none of these can be built on your own, such kind of infrastructure. So I have to work with a lot of the equipment manufacturer like your HP, Dell, Hitachi and all. So I manage the vendor relationship also.
That really sounds quite interesting. We're sure we have people in our audience who want to work on such heights too in the future.
Next question for you is, before working with Yota, you also worked with many big organizations and contributed to many projects too. So can you share some of your best experiences while working as a leader in a diverse team?
So I began my career in 89, 90, and I've worked with many companies with many projects. There are many interesting things happen when I transitioned from Indian to US based company. So these are a diverse project, as you said. I have worked, but each project brings a different experience and unique experience to you. So it is up to you that how you gel around with the team, whether it is a multicultural team or a multi-geographical team. But every project gives you a different experience. So like one of the things you guys working on internet. So in India, the internet came in around 1992, 93. And I was with a company called Digital Equipment, which is the creator of Ethernet, along with Xerox. So we worked with VSNL, and those days the browsing was a very different experience, because speed is slow, and there are a lot of tested. So when we built those kind of things, that was a unique experience. Then we move forward with the private cloud, then now moving to public cloud, now getting into the lot of automation engineering. So every project has its own unique learning, and there've been, if I talk, then it will go for a little longer. But yes, it is. Most of the project teach you more than what you learn with your basics. So you imply the basic learning, and then each project will teach you something unique for you to use it for your next project or in your future.
Yeah, exactly. That was very insightful to know, sir. Our next question to you is, as prior experience is required in the field of cloud computing,
Right.
and for understanding things practically, we need some training. So how to get trained for that practical work? Like it is necessary, it is the necessity of this job.
Right. So see, everything comes with a packaging, right? So if the things are beautifully packaged, you accept it, right? But to make that thing beautiful, you need to do the same groundwork, right? So I've been into the IT infrastructure since the CRT monitor, those green dot monitors day. So we build the infrastructure, which is exactly same what it is for the monolithic 3-tier, multi-tier architecture. And the same thing is we are building for cloud. The only thing is that the intuitiveness of a product like cloud, where a student like you who want to build a software, you have the code, right? But what you need a server. For you to go and buy a server, put an internet link, then download some web software and enable it. It is a very horrendous task for you to arrange money and convince your professor and get the fund and then get the server and make sure it is cooled and all. So what basic thing everybody thinks that cloud, I have not done much of the learning on a cloud. So you need to learn the basics of the IT, which is the language you are learning, the operating system, the database, the cloud is more of orchestration layer. So the more you grow inside into usage of that, you will automatically come to know that what you can do it. So there are the Azure and AWS. If you happen to see, the Amazon is not a cloud company. They were buying server for their books selling and merchandise selling business, but they have bought so many server that how to reuse it, they created AWS. So that is one of the example. A lot of people ask that what they have learned. So because they have learned that they are not able to utilize the equipment what they have bought. So they created remaining equipment into a box, and they started reselling as a product. So for you or for any student to learn anything specific on cloud, first I want them to understand the x86 architecture, the operating systems, the virtualization layer, and then the cloud. Cloud is, yes, it is a horizontally scalable, vertically scalable product. Yes, you can go to any, most of the website are giving you free certificate and free basic training. So, but
Yeah.
you should consider your base in the technology, and then you can, based on your choice of cloud, you might have used it. Maybe it is Alibaba or Azure or AWS or Oracle. You can start learning one of them. It will give you more insightful thought that you might see the cloud as a flat architecture, but inside the cloud, the same thing is available. You have a server, you have a database, you have storage, you have security, you have backup, you have virtualization. So basis on your choice and your interest, you can again get into one of the stream more focusedly, and other things as generally like what you do in your engineering, right?
Yeah, those are definitely some golden words, sir. We do improve day by day if we keep learning. We are sure that our audience will keep these points in mind.
Okay, so let's head to our next question. The question is, what is the future in cloud and how do we seek it as a student? As per prior experience, people are preferred while hiring. So how to get start in cloud field?
Right. So see, the adaptability of cloud is not an issue now. It was 10 years ago when I was in bank, the banks were not ready to adopt. But today, seeing the elasticity and scalability and security of a cloud infrastructure, the cloud will keep growing. Which cloud will grow? I think every cloud operator will grow. So in India itself, there are 1,000 plus cloud providers who are there, right? Who are making some or the other component. The one thing is for sure that for a student like you need to focus on two things. One is that whether you are really working inside the cloud or you want to be one of the cloud service provider you're working, or second is that you are the user of a cloud, like your college. You might be using that cloud to make sure. So the critical mass perspective, the cloud adaptability is already there. So it will be keep growing it because the adoption started happening on a mass level. So earlier the manufacturing companies of typical manufacturing companies like what you have seen near Indore, Devas and Pithampur, that they want to keep their server inside their factory. But now they understood that moving the system out will be better for them because they can perform so many tasks sitting there. So if there's anything happen to your office, at least your IT can work. So because of the advantage from this, and when you go for a cloud kind of infrastructure, you certainly not invest in the high capital expenditure or capex you want. So you go on a very smooth starting at a lower level and then keep growing it. So whether you go for a public cloud or a private cloud, the adoption, the usability, and the R&D is keep happening. So there are every day there's a newer things coming on. People rather want to launch their projects and services on cloud rather than selling it license. So it is more like a music industry where people want to launch their music online because the students or the young generation want to stream it fast rather than you go to a shop, buy a cassette, come home and play a recorder or something like that. So exactly same thing from a cloud perspective. It is a growing field and it is keep enhancing. So if you stick to one particular stream of a cloud, let's say you want to do something on the analytics side, you want to learn about the camera surveillance systems or intelligence service system, or you want to learn on the AI front, everything, the infrastructure is available. The platform is available on cloud. It is just happening that every company has a different use case to adopt it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir, you're right, sir. It's a growing stream. Also, does Yotta provide facilities to freshers for better experience and learning? And do Yotta also provide internship to students?
Right. So we provide internship, but because of COVID, the physical internship in the area of electrical, mechanical, where we build the data center, and the entire data center need electricity of more than 50 megawatt, the chilling capacity of more than 2,000 ton. So we may not able to provide that internship, but for the IT team, IT perspective, the people who are into the DevOps, people who are into the software, people who are into the cloud, we provide them remote internship. We have tried to do our best to do it for some localized local people from some of our affiliated college in our area. And yes, we want to expand it once the COVID situation will relax. We will definitely provide to the other stream also.
Definitely, sir.
Sir, the next question is, along with your management projects, you also worked in some technical projects too. So if possible, could you list them, and also can you give a glimpse of your any one of your favorite projects?
So my favorite project is there are so many, but from a learning perspective, my favorite project is recently I have completed in Geo the complete Microsoft Azure implementation with more than 20,000, around 8,000 servers. And that was the design, and I was heading the planning and engineering over there. So that was designed. It was a massive scale of design where the company like Microsoft, they are the best in the world. And when they come and they ask you, you will learn a lot many, because we made our data center best, but they have asked us to do it this with a reason. So whenever these company comes, they will tell you why they want that, and that makes me happy, and and because I am also learning with them, and those things are helping me. Similarly, when we before we launch our cloud in Utah, we were contemplating to go with one of the biggest cloud provider and start reselling it. But when we started Utah, the whole thing is that we want to make it big, but we have to start from somewhere. So we created our own cloud. It's a platform written on a cloud stack by our engineer itself, and we customize, and we try to give a simple experience to our customers. So if you guys happen to go to cloud.utah.com, you can use it free. It's based on your student ID, the Azure and something. You can take a couple of VM, run it for a month, and you can try it. So we try to give the infrastructure as a service first, because our motive is we want to be a data center company, but we also want to be a tech partner for any digital journey for our customers. So we created this cloud in almost 8 months, and we launched along with that. So, and then later on we launched so many products. But the first thing is always get remembered, because you have a lot of learning from them. So why we selected that, and now why we are planning to move to a new platform, because we have learned out of that. So that's why I gave you two examples, that one is the learning from other, and one is learning amongst yourself.
Agreed, sir. The next question is, how secure is cloud, and how can we convince the user that cloud is secure?
Okay. So how secure an apartment rather than your own bungalow, right, is exactly the cloud is, because the cloud is designed for multi-tenancy. And when you design something for multi-tenant, you make sure that not only the north-south traffic, but also the east-west traffic is segregated. So you have one customer whose users are coming. So from internet, we call it north, and the south is your storage. So you have users coming, right? How you make sure that it will go to that particular destination, what it is looking for. So maybe a same cloud is hosting Yota.com, and same cloud is also hosting my customer SR.com. So it will go to that same stream. So the cloud provider or a data center provider has more layer of security, right? Because there are two things in mind. That one, there is its own data, my own IP that I have written a cloud, and I want to make sure that is secure. The second thing is that I have very stringent contract written with my customers. So if I lose their data, there will be a financial penalties, and there is a brand damage, and so on and so forth. So any cloud provider which is a multi-tenant will give you a better security. again, it is up to you whether you want to opt for those products or not. But the basic security layer is it rather bigger. So at my home, I use a router. In your college, you use a firewall, which is very small, right? But when you come to a company like Yota or any other big conglomerate, they use multiple layer of firewall. So there's a DNS firewall, there's a core firewall, there's a intrusion protection system, there's a web application firewall, there's a DDoS attack container. So automatically what happened, this gives you one is that the cloud provider himself make it more secure. And the second is that based on the role-based access, you have a basic like your bank, your usernames, your password, your admin user, your normal user, your consumer login. So that is built into your IP, the product you are building on that cloud. So it will be always secure, better secure, more secure than compared to an individual data center, because individual data center will be, you are a manufacturing company, you are more focused on how your manufacturing shop floor will work. So you are more focused on your application, which runs your factory. For you, the IT is a thankless job. I need a server. So IT wala give me server and give me desktop and that. But when IT person requests you, sir, we are going online. Now our product is available on a app or a website. I need this firewall. Then again, the budget constraint come and all the revenue-based discussion. But in data center, that is my lifeline. That's my business. So that is where I gave you the example of a multi-story campus or complex will give you better security than your individual bungalow.
True, sir. We agree, sir.
So mute, I think.
Sorry.
No problem.
So, sir, how can one convince that cloud is secure? Like at the initial level of any firm, it should have to convince the users, right, for buying their product. So how can one convince?
Right. So I also run the security operation, not the physical security, but the technical, the IT technology security also for Yota. So the security is more of a culture, right? If I give an example that when we started our cloud for public, before that we started our own applications, our billing system, our customer relationship management, our trouble ticketing system, monitoring system. All these things are being done by people. They are on my payroll or my contractors. So what we have done, we have implemented the security policies in such a way that they are adaptable. So one is that you have to make them, understand the people. So security is a way of life. It is more of a culture, right? So if I need to protect my data center from a DDoS kind of attack or denial of service kind of attack, right? I need to have multiple internet links, because if one operator is been on a denial of service from some hacker, at least I can survive. So one is that how you make your system redundant. The second is that how you make the system is tolerant. So as an security professional, if you work with our CISO team, they make the policy. They say, I want Manish that we will have 10 gig data should be streamless going directly. Now it is up to me that what product I use. So there is a combination we use, right? But the bigger challenge is that the 67% of security threat happening because of your own employees and contract. So you have to make sure that they are aware that what they are wrongly doing. So it's like you are saving your bank account. You don't give your OTP to your friend, or you don't click on anonymous thing. So that phishing is a very simple example. You keep getting phishing mail. So it is, as a security, I have to make sure that they will not go to the mailbox of my end user. But still there are smart newcomers. They have a ways and means to send. But if I need to make sure that please be aware that your CEO is not asking for money. So if any mail comes and say, click here for giving some money to your office, please do not ignore. So one is that the education, and second is that the sensitivity. So you have a better product, but your people doesn't know how to use it. That will be a failure. So the security is more of a culture and learning, and I've been working with banks and IT companies like HCL, Infosys, and all. So there, the number of people are many more. Engineers like you, like a 2 lakh engineers in Infosys at one time. So we have to have a continuous mechanism to make them aware of what is happening. So when the cloud came in, the security itself started getting better. As I gave you example, because you are hosting something which is always available on internet. So it's like Netflix, right? It's available for you to watch movie, but there's a people who are interested to break it. So this is more of a living way of living, how you implement your policies and how you make your people aware of those things. So it's a both way. We make sure that it should be secure. Otherwise, if your people are not aware, obviously you have the same situation what you have without a security solution.
Yeah, exactly, sir. Sir, so my next question is, being on such higher level in a well-known firm, must bring a lot of stress and pressure. So how do you manage it?
I spend my time with young people like you, and I keep reading. I keep writing some of the blogs on LinkedIn, and what I learn, I want to share. But the stress management is, everybody has its own way of doing it, right? So
Yeah,
like I watch a lot of TV, right, which I love to watch. So I do that. But the one thing is that at a higher level, the more the number of ladders in your career you move, right, you have to be more cautious because there are more level of stress. So there's a issues at a site, there's an issue in the office, there's a number of people who are reporting have a conflict issue. So once you start growing, you have to understand one thing, that first thing is that you have to control yourself. You cannot control everybody, but you can control yourself. So you keep yourself stress free as much as possible. If you are stress free, you can definitely solve other problems. The only way is that make sure that at any level, your level, you have a stress of getting the good grades. Then after that, you have getting the good first slot interview with a best company coming to your campus. Then you have a stress that you get selected. If not, then what? Definitely. So everything or anything start from you or me or I. But when you grow at a higher level, you have to be more relevant to the ecosystems around. It will be your family, it will be your office, it will be your friend, and it will be your maybe the school, college friend. So stress is at all level. The intensity may change, but stress is always there. So make yourself calm and quiet. Just think twice. Make sure that you will not do in a hush way. So you should always be composed. You can be composed and quiet if you are stressful. So it's a chicken and egg story. You call it, in your language, you call it catch-22 situation, right? So you have to be handling both the things, whether you want to be calm or you want to be stress-free. So both the things are same, but if you are stress-free, you are calm. If you are calm, you are stress-free. So at any given point of time, you have to make sure that what you want to do, first you are convincing yourself, then you go and you convince your parents or your teacher. The same thing is that any situation in life is stressful, and you have to make sure that you think without stress, then only you can control that situation. That's the way to live.
That's great to know, sir. It is very important to manage pressure and stress that comes along with work. If stress persists, it can take a toll on your mental health.
So we have a question from our audience. And how can the IoT courses help the freshers to seek jobs?
Right. See, when long back in 10 years ago, the cloud came, everybody was drifting to go to that, right? Similarly, now the IoT came in last 3-4 years. But if you happen to see, if you have worked in manufacturing companies, the IoT is the way of life, right? So everything is done with the sensor. So I've worked in power plant where the sensor will tell the armature can sustain for this RPM to make more electricity. right? So you cannot go. Similarly, you go to a Maruti kind of manufacturing where the shop floor says that the engine is assembled, now cannot go to the next space to be lifted and shifted to the body. Is the body ready? All these sensors are available, right? Today you go to a smaller project I have done in my with pro bono with my friend. We have worked with a namkeen manufacturer to put the sensor so that the wastage of oil was reduced, and that exactly help him to reduce his wastage cost, and he actually funded that cost to bring the new sensor based boiler for himself. So IoT is more of a use case, right? Internet of thing is more of a use case, like you have a petrol driven car, but now the electric came in that has so many sensors, right? So because it has no engine, the armature and the engines, the motor sits in the tire, but it has so many sensors on the recharging the battery dispersing the right current, the other suspension issues and all. So IoT is having a lot of work done already in manufacturing. The buzzword or the technology came in because when you have so many sensors, they develop so much data, and that data need to be stored backend and processed to create a meaningful result, which is called analytics. So anybody who's doing analytics has been doing using the IoT, whether it is a data coming from a sensor or data coming from your operator, right? So it has too much potential, but at the end of the day, instead of only learning the IoT, one has to understand the problem you are going to solve. So I'll give you a very small example. You saw the Bajaj Finance give the TV ka shop mein, you go and 5 minutes they'll give you the loan sanction, right? So what they have done is that they have used the phone as an IoT device. They created a small app, but at the back end they have used the Salesforce.com cloud. So what they were doing is they just need a 3G a device which can capture the name and the ID of that person, and within a 1 minute they do 72 check, including the loan appliers CRISIL rating or some rating or any fraud he has done in bank. So they push that data back to their Salesforce cloud, and that cloud is already connected to multiple banks, and they return back and give a meaningful result to that phone ki, guys, approve him and give him the loan right now. And because the loan is not going to go to the person, it's going to the shop. So the problem can be solved whether you put an intelligent camera at your home and you solve the problem that your old parents are there. You can see if nighttime and motion detector has, so I can get a right. So it is more of a use case based work rather than so you can learn the IoT platform, right? You can go to Amazon. There's a 500 rupees plug, right? So you remove your air condition and put that plug and put the air condition connected on that plug. Now that plug is Wi-Fi connected. So before entering your home, 15 minutes early, you can on the AC. That is IoT. The smallest problem they try to solve is that they can give you comfort. The second use case came in, you will leave your house, but you forgot to switch off. So you can remotely switch off. But then again, the second thing, as you asked, it creates a lot of security hazard because you are connecting that via internet. So you are exposing that. So now at your home, you probably need a router or a Wi-Fi gear, but you also need some security layer so that nobody can intrude and do the mischief with that. So IoT has very, very many ways to go. I gave you a couple of examples, but if you start thinking from your college perspective, there can be a lot of cameras you have, right? But you still have to swipe in for your attendance. But at our office, we have recently implemented a face detection and vehicle detection camera. So we give the attendance of a person if he comes in. So this is all Internet of Things. It is mostly based on use cases. So you learn the IoT technology of one way, whether it is sensor, camera, whatever it is, whichever field you are interested. But you have to understand that you have to be more focused and learn the problem statement, what you are going to solve. So if you go to a customer, what problem he is going to give you and what kind of IoT device you need for that is the main thing. So it's a more of a use case. So try to read the IoT articles with the use case. It will give you a better idea and better sense that which is the area which is growing more adoption. Manufacturing is the biggest one. Hospitality is the second one. Education and other data center kind of thing. The service industries are third one. So if you see the ladder, the manufacturing is more, hotel and travel is second, education and other general industry like data center and telecom is third.
It was very good to know, sir. IoT is definitely a fascinating tech innovation.
Right.
Our last question for you is, as we know that the coming generation is adopting and relying on technology, what are some technological innovations that attract you?
So there are a couple of things which, as an entrepreneur, as a senior leader in the organization, is attract to me is the cloud and IoT, as you said. The bigger thing which is behind this is the analytics. So even if you run a small kirana shop, if you know the number backend, that how much stock you have, and if somebody can give you that analytics very well, probably that will be the biggest, most of the attractive thing. And now we have another thing, like in IoT, you see the flavor of artificial intelligence and machine learning and deep learning coming in. So analytics is also coming into the predictive analytics. So based on the use case of my business, if I run a particular, take the data set and run analytics, it will start telling me that this is the month when you do most of the hosting business. This is the month you do the most of the cloud business. So predictive analytics is one of the technology which is also being utilized in security mode. So if you guys have time and interest in IT technology security, try to learn APT, Advanced Persistent Threat. It is nothing but it takes all the old threat signature, and whenever there is an anomaly in your data traveling here and there, they run this check back into their system, and where they have already created many of use cases based on the old data set or old malicious data, and they actually give you in advance that this anomaly of data is now started in your data center. Please vouch for it. So APT is one of the product which is basically a firewall, cloud, a database, and firewall is basically IoT device. So it collects the log, it give it back to them, and they analyze at their data center. And then before the attack will mature and attacks you, it will give you more logical, a threat protection program. And they also suggest you how to mitigate it. So analytics will never go out, even if you have IoT coming in. The basic result making is at the backend. So cloud is the infrastructure, but you run some, unique IP or a unique logical methodology to compare that data. See, I have 100 cameras sending me feedback, but there are 5 cameras which are generating an alert where the movement is happening. So who's decided? It is the software you written. So your logic, which is running at the backend, is analytic. And whether you use IoT or you use cloud, the basic thing is your own application. The logic you have made it to understand that this is a different pattern than the normal pattern. I need to alert somebody. So all these 3 things put together, go ahead. But analytics will grow more because a lot of you guys are also nowadays in learning. Analytics itself is the AI and ML and analytics. There's a degree courses are allowed from the foreign universities. So that is also one of the technology.
Agreed, sir. All right, with this, we end the question and answer session. Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful words and making this session a very engaging one. It was indeed a delight talking to you, sir, and we'll definitely keep in mind the advice given by you.
Thank you. Sure. All the best and stay safe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening words. We would like to thank our audience for joining in today's Q&A session. We hope that this session was quite helpful and provided a clearer path for your journey ahead. Sir, we will be very delighted if you will be able to attend the rest of the session if time permits you. Thank
Sure.
you, everyone. Over to you, Tanishka.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Ashi and Adesh. With this, we will now begin with our session of integration of IoT and cloud by our session experts for today, Mr. Murtaza Sultan and Ms. Akriti Nagaria, students from MBA Tech 4th year, STME NMIMS Indore.